Welcome to my Q&A video for 100,000 subscribers. You're entering a world of stuttering and awkward pauses. People wanted this for some reason. Thanks to everyone who submitted questions. I'll not be able to answer all of them, but I'm going to try my best. Okay, let's start. Daniel Gomez asked, how did you get started doing video essays? Any tips for someone who wants to do something similar? Like I'd written some stuff and posted up places and it just kind of got no traction. But then video essays were kind of starting to get big. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. The music ones started doing really well. So I decided to exploit that niche. Like the first steps are generally just get stuff written. It might not be great at first. You can watch my earlier videos and you're like, yeah, this isn't very good. Because it's not going to be. You need to get that experience under your belt before you can be better. So yeah, just start writing, like learn basic editing programs, whether that's Premiere or like even iMovie, or I think Live Editor is the Windows one. Get something out there and done so you have a leap pad to improve on. Gabriel7 asked, how old are you? And also, is the channel your main job or do you have another one? Well, I was 31 until like fucking last week when I had my birthday, and I'm now 32. If you want to get me a present, there's an Amazon wish list. It is now my main job. Yeah, it has been for the last, well, definitely the last year and a bit. Ronja asked, do you only make videos about music you actually like, or are you open to anything? What makes you want to go deeper into history of certain music? I think the thing is, if I were to do a video on something that I didn't like or was enthusiastic about, it would show. I know, like a good story that's not just the same old thing. Because people voted for it, I did the video on the Arctic Monkeys, and that one I was less enthusiastic about. Personally, I think Arctic Monkeys' best stuff was their first album, but people voted for it for the best song of the decade video, so I did it anyway. The problem with that was that their story of trying to break America was exactly the same as the story of Aladdin Sane, which I did for the David Bowie video last year. Chummer asked, will you ever do another TV video game analysis video, or are you sticking to just music for now? Well, I've got to tell you, probably not. There's a lot of channels that do kind of video game analysis and TV stuff as well. The nearest thing I could possibly see myself doing is like doing something like a video on, say, Amadeus, or something like Almost Famous, where there's the whole kind of music background thing. Anything I do from now on would have at least background in music, just because this is kind of what I've made my channel on. So I don't know, I don't think it's worth my time, I guess. John Doe wanted to know, what's the process like for editing these videos? So what I use editing wise is Adobe Premiere Pro. Not most, but a good chunk of the editing process is finding the footage, and that is just going on YouTube and also getting DVDs and Blu-rays of documentaries. It's better if you have some actual behind the scenes footage of like studio work or whatever. It just looks better visually. What I've started doing recently is splitting up the task so that you have actual sections. A year ago I didn't have that. It was just kind of like, okay, here's 10 minutes I need to fill. Whereas now it's kind of like, okay, I've got this 2-minute chunk. I can probably do that in 2-3 hours. Maybe less. I know, it takes a while. Wollerine asks, are you going to make a collaboration video with another channel in the future? In the past, I've had an opportunity to work with another channel, and that just fell through due to, I guess, miscommunication. I find it hard to work out what a collaboration video would be within the video essay niche. Do you each write half an essay? I don't know. There's some people that are out there at the moment doing good stuff. So if Todd in the Shadows wants to collab, polyphonic obviously, I don't know how that would work. Sean Campbell asked, we are dying to know what you look like. Will you ever post a pic? And Stefan Hook also asked a similar question. No, No, I probably won't ever post a picture of my face just because it doesn't make sense for me to. I must add that, so on YouTube, the list of questions, someone put face reveal ? And that was the lowest rated comment on the whole thread. People don't want to see my face. Like, that's a legit thing. I might not align with what you thought I looked like, and then you'll probably like me less. Like, I think I've had similar things with going to see bands live, and you were like, oh, okay, that's what they look like. Megan Strom asked, are there any videos you've had to scrap? And would I ever revisit any of them? I wanted to do a video on Mitski, like last year, but yeah, I just couldn't make it work. And I think it was before I'd done like a profile of an artist, like long form. I think post doing the one on Robin and the one on FKA Twigs, I think I could probably go back to it. Like maybe when she releases her next album, I'll get on that. Daryl Grant asked, what was your favorite topic to cover? And what is the one topic you're most excited to cover next? I don't know, like I like doing the Jimmy Eat World one. That was fun, just because I do really like Jimmy Eat World. There's videos I really want to do, but I'm kind of nervous to do them. So, for example, I've wanted to do one on Kate Bush for pretty much ever. She's definitely an artist that I could possibly do even 2 new British Canon episodes on. But because she's such this high-profile artist, you don't want to fuck it up. Same with Manic Street Preachers and the Holy Bible episode. That will definitely come out in the next 6 months. But I'm like, I need to research this enough that it's good and it doesn't besmirch the legacy or whatever. Panda19 asked, what are some of your personal favourite albums and artists? Well, obviously Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf, Art Angels, all the Ruben albums, Race Car, Backwards, Very Fast, Very Dangerous, and In Nothing We Trust. They're all things I keep on going back to. And also like Clarity by Jimmy World and Holy Bible and Hounds of Love. Chris Ulmanite asked, what is your favourite REM album? It's Reckoning, because Reckoning has Pretty Persuasion and I'm So Sorry, South Central, Rain. Pedro J asked, what's my favourite Cure song? A Night Like This, it is a good song. I like Disintegration, the title track from Disintegration. And I know, Boys Don't Cry. Asata Tony asked, what are my favourite movie soundtracks? Like Scott Pilgrim? Scott Pilgrim's good. Almost Famous, that other one. What's that other one? Oh, High Fidelity. High Fidelity's got a good soundtrack. 0000 asked, what are some of my favourite music documentaries? There's the obvious ones, like Searching for Sugar Man and Dig and a band called Death, but also Instrument, the Fugazi documentary is great, like a rare insight into that band, but also The Decline of Western Civilization. All 3 of those films are great. Adrian Pertry wanted to know, what are my favourite British bands? Well, there's the Buzzcocks, the Manic Street Preachers, like Kate Bush, she's not a band, but she's good. The Clash, obviously. Ruben, Prodigy, Massive Attack, Blur, Radiohead, obviously. There's a lot of good British bands. Master Faster Factor had a question. What has been your favourite music scene from the last decade? I guess the most distinct one is kind of stuff like Grimes and FKA Twigs, like people making their own music in their own like bedrooms and putting it out there. That's probably the most interesting stuff that's come out in the last 10 years. The Probe Wizard asked, which critically acclaimed artist from the past or present do I not like at all? Like, I didn't like the Rolling Stones particularly until recently. I just didn't get how they're like the Beatles, but not as good. But no, like Tool. Fucking Tool. Emma Lane asked an interesting question. You have to lose from the universe forever. The Cure, the Smiths, Joy Division, or the Buzzcocks. Who do you pick to lose? Joy Division. Like, they've got Love Will Tear Us Apart, but they released 2 albums. The rest released more. The Buzzcocks, outstanding singles collection. It needs to be Joy Division. If it includes New Order, then I guess the Smiths. But it is a hard question. Tyler the Creation asked, Who do you consider the most influential band artist not to be known as being influential? Well, I've done research for this. It's the Winstons, because of the Amen break. Which pretty much influenced most dance, house, techno genres, as well as being the most sampled clip ever. So yeah, the Winstons. Meme Movies asked, who should have won the British pop war, Blur or Oasis? That's the thing. Like, after the Battle of Britpop, Blur released their self-titled, they released 13, and also Think Tank, which has Out of Time, which is, yeah, just incredible. Whereas Oasis released, like, who fucking cares? Matt W asked, what is your opinion on the post-Reissue Mannix output? When I was younger, I kind of wrote off everything post-Reissue as not real and not good. But no, they've released some great stuff. If You Tolerate This, it's such a weird song to have got to #1. Like, it's a great song. Yeah, they didn't stop releasing good music in 1994. You've mentioned wanting to do an episode on Troublegum. Are you up with the later albums by Therapy? And if so, what is your opinion on the latest two? Supposedly being back to Troublegum affairs. To be fair, not really. Like, I think I heard the latest one. I can't remember what it's called. I heard like the singles off that. I'm not sure if they'll remain in their set lists in the same way stuff like Troublegum has. But yeah, like the last time I really listened to one of their albums was Crooked Timber, which has like Clowns Galore, which is one of my top Therapy songs. What do you reckon is the most unappreciated 90s, 80s band? I guess someone like Swerve Driver. They're underrated. Senseless Things. That's an underrated British band from the 80s, 90s right there. Tok asked, what do you think of the whole modern pop punk scene? E.g., The Story So Far, The Wonder Years, Neck Deep, etc. I think the thing with pop punk is that it's kind of directed at adolescents and teenagers, and I'm kind of quite beyond that now. The only bands even taking an interest in is like the Wonder Years and Joyce Manor. Their songs seem skewed a bit older, with the Wonder Years song passing through the screen door with that lyric about being 26 and having not grown up yet. I felt that. Billy's Balls asked a lot of questions, but some of them are, what artist band can you not stop talking fanboying about? Like Jimmy World, FKA Twigs, Grimes, Ruben, Johnny Foreigner. These are just a handful. What bands do you think need more exposure or recognition? So there's this band called Johnny Foreigner. They released their debut in 2008 called Waited Up Until It Was Light. And that's one of my favorite albums of all time. And it's not on Spotify currently because of bullshit with their label. At the time I went to uni, they were my favorite band. I saw them every time I could when they played for the first 2 years I was at uni. They're a mix between like Nirvana and Joan of Arc, if you can think of that, but you know, with Birmingham accents. Also, what bands do I think have the best, most unique music videos? Just off the top of my head, FKA Twigs, like her stuff, like the visuals are very intense. Grimes, Ruben, all of their music videos, most of them aren't on YouTube in proper quality, but they're good. But also like Björk and Radiohead and Aphex Twin. Also, from the 21st century, which bands do I wish I'd come to earlier? I think I'm quite lucky in the fact that all the bands I really liked in the 2000s were bands that, you know, I was growing up with, like My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy and Jimmy Eat World. And I actually got to see them live during the times when they were at their height. All the bands I've liked for the last decades haven't broken up or fucked up yet. I'm in a good position at the moment. Like, I've seen Grimes and FKA Twigs and Charlie XCX live, so they can stop doing music like next year, and I can be fine with that. But I'd rather they didn't. Funny Little Frog asked, which commentary or video essay channels have inspired you, if any? Todd the Shadow's good. I like Lindsay Ellis. Everyone likes Lindsay Ellis. I'm very frustrated that, not frustrated, but I'm kind of like, when's the new H-Bomber Guy video? because it has been at least 2 months. When he does release stuff, it's all top tier. But I know, they don't really inspire me. I guess like inspiration came from like Vox and Nerdwriter, Captain Christian. Captain Christian's new stuff's really good. It's just a shame that he doesn't release that often. Theofast Tollcore asked, since the 2010s has just ended, can you name, let's say, my top 5 artists that started after 2010? So obviously there's Grimes, FKA Twigs, and Charlie XX, who I've mentioned before in this video, as well as Mitski. Mitski's fucking great, as well as Pup from Canada. Evan Kilpatrick asked, would you ever consider doing just a massive history of punk video? The thing is, by the time I'm finished, when I'm done, there will probably be about 5 hours of content that you could watch back to back, which would be the history of punk. Obviously I've got the how punk became punk, but then obviously there's artists that I'm probably going to do videos along the way. And yeah, you can just connect them all together. They're like modular system, just slot them all in. You'll have a 5-hour documentary on the evolution of punk. It'll be great. You'll love it. Matthew Brindley asked, is there a genre you would consider doing a retrospective on what came before it? Like grunge, metalcore, or shoegaze? Yeah, like the before videos do generally quite well, apart from the most recent one for some reason. Yeah, like probably grunge, shoegaze. Probably not going to do one on metalcore. Sorry. Right, girl. That's going to be one. New wave, industrial. They're all coming at some point. I'm going to do like a 3-part one where it's just the history of emo. It's going to be great. Phoebe asked, what are your predictions for the future of music in the next decade? I think jazz is going to make a comeback in a big way, and then like rock will become the jazz, and then hip hop will become the rock. Yeah. Lucy Mansfield asked, are there any artists in particular you're looking forward to hearing new music from? Well, I mentioned her earlier, but Mitski. I'm not sure if she's got one out this year, but that's going to be great. But yeah, Mitski, by the time you watch this video, Grimes will have released her new album, as it's coming out Friday. This is Wednesday. Jordan Theory asked, what is your vision for the future of the channel? What I want to do with the channel to make it so that it's less secondhand research, it is actually interview bands and artists so that I can get some first-hand goss on the songs, so I can be a bit more direct and get exclusive information from the artists themselves. And now that I've hit 100k, I'm probably at the point where I can do that, at least with smaller artists. And yeah, that is it. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for everyone that submitted questions. Maybe I'll do this again for 250,000, which I'll never hit. Thank you. Thank you again. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.